feel like saying that yourself. But before you do, let me show you what God has to say about this matter. I believe there's help for the hurting heart in the Word of God. Verses 1 through 10, the problems Moses pondered. We see them in verses 1 through 10. The discouragement faced by Moses had its roots in all the burdens he was trying to bear as he led the children of Israel to Canaan. As those problems added up, he allowed himself to become discouraged in the midst of the journey. It may help us to look at what Moses was dealing with. Before you get too hard on it, you might do well by considering what he was dealing with. I have to remind folk, don't be so critical on folk when you don't know what they're dealing with. Don't be so hard on folk when you don't know what they're dealing with. Walk a mile in their shoes before you cast your opinion of how they ought to handle what they got to handle. It's different on the sideline than it is on the field. You can't coach from the sideline. I wish I had a witness here. It's easy to try to give advice of how you should run when you're not the runner and you don't have the ball. It looks different. Come on, talk to me. I said it looks different from the sideline. Can I get a witness? Is there anybody in here ever been on the field? The field of life? It's not the same as it is when you on the sideline. Come on, help me somebody. Pain is different on the field than it feels when you on the sideline. It don't even look quite the same. You don't even get the same picture on the sideline that you get on the field.
That's the truth, man.
I mean, you don't see that 400-pound linebacker, 6'8", coming at you full speed from the sideline, and the quarterback just put the ball in your hand. You can't see that from the side. So before you judge Moses, you need to consider what he had to deal with. You got a few minutes?
Yes, sir.
Moses faced, first of all, in verse 1 through 3, a people problem. The children of Israel were nothing but complainers. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. But I'm where God wants me to be. They were never satisfied by anything. After a while, this would have driven anyone else over the edge. Come on, talk to me, somebody. We all have people problems from time to time. Anytime there's a relationship between any two people, there will always be potential for problems. As one writer said, he said it best, he said, to live above with sinners we love Oh, won't that be glory? But to love below with saints we know, well, that's another story. Let me encourage you in this matter of dealing with others. A 3-step plan will guarantee you that you can overcome a problem with any other person. Number 1, love them like Jesus loved them. Number 2, forgive them of anything and everything you think they have done to you. And finally, pray for them every day. It's impossible to carry a prayer for someone in your heart and hate them at the same time. Moses faced a people problem. But then Pastor, not only did he have a people's problem, he faced a provision problem. In verse 4 through 9, these verses remind us that Moses was leading 2 million people through the wilderness and that they had nothing to eat but manna. And of course, they did not like the manna. And they complained bitterly about the manna. I wish I had a witness here. Does that remind you of anybody? I wish I had a witness here. But does that remind you of any congregation? They tried everything they could to make the manna taste like food of Egypt. But it never worked. And they gripe, whine, complain about it every day. God delivered them out of bondage. And they still wanted the food they had in bondage.
Boy, you better preach.
They tried to make it taste like the Egypt food. And it simply says that you can get them out of Egypt. You got it. But you can't get Egypt out of them. I told the pastor, a young pastor the other day, because you know we the old pastors now.
Yeah, y'all sure will.
Pastor Robert talking about y'all, he in there with us. He in denial. There ain't no need of being in denial. It is what it is. Praise the Lord, somebody.
Praise the Lord.
I told this young pastor the other day, as he was talking about his vacation and going everywhere, I said, well, Pastor, let me just give you a little something that God blessed me with. When you take your vacation, don't be gone too long.
Wow.
I know you got folks in place. And I know you've given your orders and everything. You told who's in charge. But don't stay gone too long. If you got a month, take a week at a time. Because Moses made that mistake. Only he wasn't on vacation. He was on the mountaintop talking with God about the children of Israel. And while he was gone, he stayed a little long. And while he was gone, trying to get some help for them rascals, on his way back down the mountain, he heard some noise. I'm looking for a Bible reading. Pastor, he heard some noise, but it didn't sound like they were praising God.
Oh, Lord. They were having Mardi Gras.
See, when you're gone too long, it wasn't no Mardi Gras noise. It was a different kind of noise. Wish I had one or two real folk in there. They had ordered all of the gold jewelry.
Yeah. Come on with it.
Melted it down.
Come on.
Shaped it and fashioned it.
Come on. Come on.
And made them
Okay.
another God.
Come on here. My God, man.
Don't be gone too long.
Can we go?
Even if you don't feel good, come on anyway. Sit over in the corner.
Man, you clown. Oh, God bless you, Pastor.
Help me somebody. Because I don't care what they say. If you stay gone too long, when you get back, they'll have another God. They were pointing at him and saying, this is the God that delivered us out of the land of bondage. They whined, they complained every day. And you remember when your kids didn't want to eat something and all the faces they made. Imagine 2 million people making a face every day when they woke to manna once again. Sometimes we face provisional problems.
Yes.
In our situation, it may be some unexpected tragedy that befalls us and takes our funds. It may be medical bills or job cutbacks. It may be that there's just more months that there is not enough coming in as there is going out. Either way, I'll remind you of something that we forget. Moses forgot it too. God didn't call Moses to feed the children of Israel. He called Moses to lead the children of Israel. It's God's responsibility to feed his children. If you're facing a provisional problem, let me remind you that if you are his and he's directing your life, then your provisional problems are his problems. They are his to solve and not your own. I remind you that he is Jehovah Jireh. Can I get a witness? I remind you that when he does the leading, he also does the feeding. It may not be what you want at all times, but it'll get you through the wilderness, just like the manna did Israel. They may not always like what the Lord gave them, but I never read where any of them starved to death. He had a provisional problem. But then not only did he have a provisional problem and a people problem, but he faced a personal problem. Because of the weight of the load he was bearing, Moses allowed himself to become utterly discouraged. The word displeased means to be broken to pieces, to be utterly destroyed. Moses had a breakdown. And if you ain't careful, the problems we face in life can produce this same attitude. It happened to Moses, it happened to Elijah. Because you remember Elijah went and sat under a juniper tree. He said, I ain't going back. I don't care what y'all say. They ain't got to vote me out. I quit. You ain't got to call no meeting. I quit. My brothers and sisters, there'll come the time in all of our lives when you have just had enough. Somebody ought to talk to me. If you hadn't been there, keep on living. There'll come the time when you shout out, enough is enough. I don't care how much they give me on anniversary. I ain't going back. I quit. Let them find somebody else. I'm tired of the way they treat me. They don't appreciate me no way. And I've discovered that sometimes it takes separation to bring about appreciation. You don't miss your water till your well run dry. You know what you got, but you don't know what you're going to get. And sometimes you got to lose a good thing to appreciate what you have. I wish I had a witness here. So sometimes God got to take him from you and put a Pharaoh over you. Can I get a witness? He had a problem, a personal problem, had a breakdown. What was his problem here? He had allowed the problems he faced to become larger than the God he served. And anytime we allow that to happen in our lives, we're in danger of a major breakdown. We need to come to the place where we remember that every problem we face has the potential to be greater than our ability to handle that problem. And since that is true, we need to keep our eyes on the Lord as we face our problem. We need to remember that he, not us, is the one who fights the battles of life. He fights and we just get to enjoy the victory. God is greater than any problem you may face. I wish I had a witness here. But thank God Moses forgot a lot. But he didn't forget to pray. Not only do we see the provisions that he faced, but we also see the prayer that Moses prayed. Verse 11 through 15, as Moses began to talk to God about his problem, he talks to God in a way that reveals to us the condition of his heart. Takes a tone with God that is angry and irreverent. And he shows us how not to pray in the time of a crisis. Look at verse 11 and 12. When you get home, Moses prayed a prayer of confusion. Moses seemed to be asking God, why? He seemed to be saying to the Lord, these your folk. I didn't give birth to them. They are yours. They are your problem and not mine. So why then am I having to bear them and their burden? Always remember, and this will help somebody else, that I don't care how many you're leading. I don't care whether you got 10,000 or 100,000. Always remember they're not yours. They are God's by ownership. They are yours by stewardship. But they belong to God. And if God lets you lead them, God will let you feed them. Can I get a witness? Moses couldn't grasp the why of the situation. Moses failed to remember that the details of how they were going to get fed was not his responsibility. And that's what I love about this business of pastoring. I'm not going to let them give me no heart attack. I'm not going to let them stroke me out. Help me somebody. If I go, it's going to be because of my health, not because of them. Talk to me somebody. Because I'm going to feed them what God tells me to feed them. And if they don't want to eat, they can just be hungry.
Good preacher.
They can just do what they did back in the day when children didn't want to eat what the parents cooked. Help me somebody. They didn't have no whole lot of cooks when we were coming along. I wish I had a witness here. There was only one cook in the house. And whatever she cooked, if you didn't want to eat it, drink some water and go to bed. ain't got no help here. With all them different menus going to the grocery store. Come on, talk to me, somebody. You didn't give them no list. Somebody else gave them another list. And somebody else gave them another list. Help me, somebody. It was only one list. They made it out. They brought it back. Whatever they cooked, either you ate it. Come on, mothers. I'm looking for some mothers over here in the mother corner. They either ate it, drank some water, and went to bed. Woke up the next day hoping for a better day. I wish I had one or two real folk in here. Somebody ain't scared of the way they were raised. I'm looking for somebody that ain't afraid of how they had to come up. I'm looking for somebody that ain't ashamed of how they had to live, how they had to make it on 2 pieces of bread and whatever. Well, they ain't saying nothing, but I know where you come from. 2 pieces of bread and whatever. Don't act like you ain't had it. Banana sandwich, don't act like you ain't had it. Serve sandwich. Don't act like you ain't had it now. Sugar sandwich. Don't try to act. I know you. I know where you came from. Don't act, because I was there too. Y'all ain't got to say nothing. Y'all want to act all sophisticated. I know where you come from. Thank God he brought us from a mighty long way. God just recently blessed us to put some meat between the bread.
Come on here, boy. Ain't no pot in me either.
Y'all ain't got to say nothing. I know where he brought me from.
Man, that's good.
Ain't no shame in my game. I know where he brought me from. I thank him for bringing me from a mighty long way. It was a long time before you got Maye sausage. It was a long time before you got potted meat. Help me, somebody.
Oh, man, boy, God bless you.
Now you want folks to think you always had. Look at somebody tell them it ain't always been like this.
I know they think so, man. Man, God bless you.
Moses had to learn that the details belong to God. That if God told him to take them, that he would take care of them. And then Moses prayed this prayer of confusion, saying, Lord, why is this happening to me? There's a good answer to our why questions. But I would propose that we need to adopt a different mindset concerning the troubles we face. I would suggest that instead of asking why, we need to learn to ask 2 different questions. Ask, first of all, why not? Jesus said we can expect trouble in this life. You shall have. I'm looking for a Bible reader. Trial and tribulation. Job said that we can expect trouble in this life. Man that is born of a woman. Did y'all read it? Y'all ain't read it. Is of a few days. And those few are full of trouble. Why then should we expect to live lives free from trouble and trial? When trouble comes to you, ask why not. Instead, learn to give thanks in the midst of trouble. And then secondly, ask what? When the Lord sends trouble into your life, remember that it must be part of his plan for you. Romans 8:28, for we know that all things, y'all read it, but you don't believe it, work together for the good, not to everybody, to them that love the Lord. And they are the called according to his purpose. He's merely growing you and showing you a new and more marvelous side of himself. His purpose in the valleys he sends us through is to change us so that we can become like him. Remember, always remember, when you get to your valley, always remember that the valley is not your destination. I said it is not your destination. Come on, help me somebody. That's not where you're going to end up at. That David said it so casually. He said it almost nonchalant, like it wasn't even nothing. He said, oh, yeah, though I walk. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadows of death. I wish I had one or two readers here. He said, well, I'm not afraid. I mean, I see the shadow of death. But even the shadow of death doesn't frighten me. And I contend, I'm not very smart. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of degrees, but I contend that anytime you see the shadow of anything, you don't need to hang around. I mean, if you walked up on the shadow of a 900-pound lion, don't try to hang around and find out if it's a male. When you see the shadow, that means that the actual element is upon you. But it also means that God gave you light so you can see how to come out. The light is not for you to hang around and try to check it out. The light is for you to catch out before you get caught up. He prayed this prayer of confession. He prayed the prayer of confusion, but then he went on and prayed a prayer of confession. Verses 12 through 14, Moses came to the place to which we all need to come. Came to the place where he saw, felt, and confessed his weaknesses. He knew that he was insufficient to the task at hand. He described himself as a father attempting to nurse a child. He had no ability to provide anything for those 2 million people. And this must have been how Paul felt as he felt the pain of that thorn in the flesh. Yet he received God's great promise of grace. And Paul was able to rejoice in his difficulty because he knew that his weakness merely opened the door for God's power to walk in. It's difficult to come to the place of total weakness and dependence before God. But until we do, we'll never know him and his power in our problems. But my brothers and sisters, let me tell you, God is greater than any problem we face. God knows how to deliver us when we are faced with unsurmountable problems. He had a remedy for Moses' problem. And Pastor, before you throw in the towel, let me tell you to pray about it. Pray to God. Don't let it be a prayer of confession, but let it be a prayer of talk to God. Tell God all about it. Because the old folks said it best when they said that just a little talk with Jesus will make everything all right. If you talk to him about it, he will come to your rescue. But not only did Moses pray a prayer of confusion, And not only did he pray a prayer of confession, but he also prayed a prayer of capitulation. I heard him tell the Lord, either get me out of this mess or either kill me. And in this verse, Moses is giving God an ultimatum. He said, either you get me out or just go ahead on and take my life. Moses also confesses the fact that he cannot bear the thought of facing total failure of his hopes, plan, and dreams. Moses has come to the place where he's ready to offer up his resignation. I heard him say, I'm quitting. Forget it. I'm out of here. And I want you to know today that there have been a time in all of our lives that we felt like just throwing in the towel. And there's been a time in all of our lives that we felt like it ain't no use. I might as well call it a day. Y'all don't hear me, but I got good news for you. Before you throw in the towel, talk to God and tell God, Lord, it was you that sent me out here in the first place. Lord, it was you that told me, if you go, I'll go with you. And now here I am. I'm out here with all of these people, and all they're doing is whining, crying, complaining, and murmuring. But I want you to know, when you paid the price, when you heard about God, one thing you know, that God will, he'll come and see about you. One thing you know, he may not come when you want him to come, but he's always right on time. Never got a winning. Good evening now. All I want to tell you, don't quit, but hold on to God's unchanging hand. The storm may rise and the wind may blow, the lightning may flash, but if you hold on, God will, he'll take care of you. I have a witness here. I'm so glad that Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, he got tired, he got weary, he wanted his Father to let this cup pass from me, but I'm so glad that God gave him help to go all the way. He went on to Calvary. He gave his hand to the cross. He gave his feet to the nail. They speared him in his side, and he died. He died. He went all the way. They buried him in a borrowed grave. But Sunday morning, he got up. He got up. So before you get to that point, when you say, that's it, I quit, talk to the Lord. Tell the Lord all about it. Is there anybody here that know with a little talk with Jesus won't it make it all right? Shake your neighbor's hand.